What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick breakdown of the Dawning for 2022. And so Eva Levante is on her way back to the tower. Hopefully she's got plenty of fuel for that holiday oven. And today we're going to break down a few things for the event. So initially weapons, there are a few pretty decent looking weapons coming up this year. There's a new one, as well as some returning weapons with updated perks. And Bungie have added some pretty interesting stuff, so even if you're not the biggest fan of the Dawning itself, there could be some weapon rolls to be on the lookout for during the event. And otherwise, we're going to talk about the event card, some of the cosmetic items, a few new Dawning gifts, and some surprises to be on the lookout for as well. So we'll get to it in the video, guys. As always, I hope you enjoy this one, but without further delay, let's get into it. And starting out, we are getting new Dawning armor, of course. So we can see it right here, it's kind of a new take on the Dawning armor we've seen previously. Although it is fairly flashy, there are a few extra bits for the Hunter right here. And they've been updated with these sort of holographic effects. But as always, as far as we know, the Dawning armor ornaments will be Eververse only. By the way, let us know what you think of the Dawning sets for this year. And next, let's speak about weapons for the event. There will be a total of 5 weapons available in this Dawning event, which is pretty cool. And they have a new origin trait, which is Dawning Surprise, and rapidly defeating targets awards a Dawning gift. And defeated powerful targets count as more than one. So possibly there, using Dawning weapons will actually give us better chances of getting more Dawning weapons. We are going to see a new lightweight frame pulse rifle. It's a stasis pulse and it's called Stay Frosty. In terms of traits in the first slot, this one can get offhand strike. And final blows grant additional weapon range, stability, and accuracy when firing from the hip for a short duration. It's also able to roll well-rounded, as well as tunnel vision, moving target, thresh, and then it can get killing wind, as well as encore. But the second slot for this pulse can get headseeker, as well as kill clip, or desperado. But on top of that, it's able to roll adaptive munitions, golden tricorn, headstone, and under over. So some pretty decent options there overall, whether you're after the damage bonuses, or stuff like Desperado, which will be pretty interesting on this archetype. And of course, headstone. Safe to say, I think there are some interesting options for the weapon at the very least. And additionally, it gets the Omolon Fluid Dynamics origin trait as an option too. The Avalanche machine gun has also been updated for this year. That's an adaptive frame solar machine gun. And in terms of traits, in the first slot, it can get Surplus, Auto-Loading Holster, Encore, Ambitious Assassin, Subsistence, or Shot Swap, a new one for this season where final blows build and store charges, which allow you to swap and stow the weapon at a faster rate, and then also Dynamic Sway Reduction. But the second slot's able to get Swashbuckler, Adrenaline Junkie, Vorpal Weapon, Tap the Trigger, Incandescent, which is a pretty cool one. Quite a big fan of incandescent machine guns for ad control, but it can also roll Cascade Point where final blows or sustained precision hits with another weapon increase this weapon's rate of fire for a short duration. That could also be a fun one to play around with on this. And then there's Target Lock as well, where damage increases the longer this weapon remains on a target. So a couple of potentially interesting DPS things there. And this one also gets the Seraph Synergy origin trait. But then Bungie have updated the Cold Front, that's an aggressive frame kinetic SMG, and the first trait slot can roll Unrelenting, Tap the Trigger, Air Assault, Subsistence, Slick Draw, Stats for All, or Perpetual Motion, with the second slot potentially getting Thresh, Rangefinder, Rampage, Gutshot Straight, One for All, and then there's Cascade Point once again, as well as Frenzy. And this also gets the Hake Breach Armaments origin trait. Next there's the Glacier Chasm, and that's a high impact Void Fusion Rifle. In the first trait slot, it can potentially get Under Pressure, Slide Shot, Killing Wind, Subsistence, Repulsor Brace, Shot Swap, or Offhand Strike, with the second trait slot getting Fragile Focus, as well as High Impact Reserves, or Kickstart. That could be pretty fun, but also it's able to roll Harmony, Reservoir Burst, which of course is a pretty good fusion rifle bonus, and then there's Golden Tricorn and Eye of the Storm. Once again, that will get the Omolon origin trait. And finally, there is the Zephyr Sword. That's an adaptive frame stasis sword. The first trait slot can get Relentless Strikes, Tireless Blade, Thresh, Unrelenting, Duelist's Trance, Wellspring, or Turnabout, and the second slot can get On Guard, Assassin's Blade, Surrounded, Whirlwind Blade, Vorpal, and then Chain Reaction, and that'll be an interesting one with stasis damage. Plus there is Cold Steel, where powered sword hits will slow targets. And so I'd say overall some of the more interesting event weapons that we've seen as random legendary drops. And let us know down below which of these weapons do you think looks most interesting, and any roles that you'd love to hunt down during the event. Next though, a few other bits of information associated with Dawning this year. And in terms of the weapons, we are going to have additional ways to potentially pick them up. So Eva Levante will have 2 different packages, the Unity Gift Exchange and the Edgy Gift Exchange. And these will drop various weapons for 10 Dawn in Spirit and 1 gift in return. So the Unity Exchange will potentially drop Glacioclasm, the Avalanche, or Stay Frosty. And then the Edge Exchange potentially has the Zephyr Sword, the Cold Front SMG, or once again the Pulse Rifle Stay Frosty. So you can pick those up for chances at 3 weapons at a time, or there are weapon purchase options that Eva should have, for the cost of 25 Dawn in Spirit and 1 gift in return each. As always, Eva will also have Dawning upgrades, and these are purchased with Dawning Spirit, where there will be options to get Dawning bounties to drop random ingredients. There's the Gift Wrapped upgrade, which is required in order to access the Unity and Edge Gift Exchange focusing options. And then things like Perky Presents, where Dawning weapons have a chance to drop with an additional perk in the left column, plus there's one where you can get an additional perk in the right column. And as always, snowballs will return, so there's options for upgrades there as well. But it looks like Bungie have certainly focused a bit more on making the weapons interesting, and giving us ways to target those weapons with better chances of getting the perks we want. So be sure to pay attention to those at Eva Levante. And this year we'll additionally see some new gifts in the mix, so as always these are the ones that we can bake and deliver to vendors in various locations, and this year they've added Queen Mara Sov, who we can visit in her chambers via the helm. That's pretty interesting. But there's also bright dusted snowballs that we can give to Tess in the tower, and Lucent Crunch that we can give to Finch in Savathun's throne world. This time though, of course, Dawning will also get an event card, and some of the upgraded event card options include rewards like the Mountainside Shell, a new exotic ghost right there, and the exotic Forward Erebus Sparrow, but there'll be some other rewards in this standard and upgraded card as always, which can be viewed pretty easily. The only other very gameplay focused thing will be the new title for Dawning, which is Star Baker. This actually has quite a lot of requirements. We'll need to complete the Dawning's intro quest, bake each of the cookies in the Dawning oven, and defeat 100 combatants with snowballs in the Vanguard's Ops playlist. There'll be another 100 required in the Dares of Eternity, and there's a triumph to purchase all of the Dawning upgrades from Eva, to defeat combatants or guardians with arc weapons or abilities, another for solar weapons and abilities, plus 2 more for Void and Stasis. Then there's completing Vanguard Ops or Dares of Eternity, Crucible or Gambit matches, completing Nightmare Containments or Heist Battlegrounds, activities in Savathun's throne world, and defeating general combatants with snowballs, so quite a lot of triumphs required there for the title this year, and let us know if you fancy being a Star Baker. All that's left for the preview right here though is the Eververse inventories for the event. So, for week 1 we're going to see the Solo Fist Bump legendary emote, as well as the Snowy Entrance Transman effect, and the Beneficence shader. Plus we'll see the Ho Ho Hum legendary emote. All of these items will be available for Bright Dust in the first week, where we'll also see the Snowball Fight exotic emote for 3,250 Bright Dust, the Snowshoes legendary emote for 700 Bright Dust. Then we get into some new items such as the Festive Shell, that's an exotic ghost for 2,850 Bright Dust. And we'll get returning items like the Mirthmobile Exotic Sparrow for 2,500 Bright Dust, the Sirius Majoris Exotic Ship for 2,000 Bright Dust, that's a new one, and then the Compliance Ornament for Anarchy, which will be 1,250 Bright Dust. But moving into the second week, we'll see the Belly Laugh Rare emote, that will cost 400 Bright Dust, and the Aniline Shock Shader for 300 Bright Dust, followed by the Ice Carving Exotic emote, which will be 3,250 Bright Dust. Additionally though, there's the Fosty Friend multiplayer emote, that will be 4,250 Bright Dust. The Action Figure Showdown legendary emote will be 700 Bright Dust, and we'll see the returning Confectionery Shell for 2,850 Bright Dust. A new exotic Sparrow, the Joy of Dawning, which will be 2,500 Bright Dust. And then the Silverwing Kestrel exotic ship for 2,000 Bright Dust, plus a new ornament for the Aegis Scepter, which will be 1,250 Bright Dust, a pretty cool one there. And in that second week, there will also be the Howling Blizzard Transman effect for 450 Bright Dust. The third and final week for the Dawning though, which will begin on the 27th of December, we'll see the Glee Barrage ornament for Xenophage, cool exotic ornament there for 1,250 Bright Dust. We'll also see the Baking Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. The Dawning Tranquility Shader will be up for 300 Bright Dust. And then we'll see a multiplayer emote, Shaky Skating, for 4,250 Bright Dust. The Snow Bunny Legendary emote for 700 Bright Dust. And we'll see the Nutcracker Shell, an exotic ghost there, for 2,850 Bright Dust. The Polar Vortex Exotic Sparrow for 2,500 Bright Dust. And then the A Frictional Cooler Exotic Ship for 2,000 Bright Dust, followed by a new ornament for the Vex Mythoclast, the Infinite Gift, which will be 1,250 Bright Dust. So those are the 3 projected weeks of Eververse inventory for the event this year. So let us know if you're going to be diving in and playing some Dawning stuff, guys, but for today that's everything we have to speak about. So if you've enjoyed the video, a rating below really helps us out, and if you want to be kept up to date with more Destiny content, definitely get subscribed to the channel. Otherwise though, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you all have an awesome day.